Iowa every Saturday puts those poor kids in the children's hospital, and those kids have to watch Iowa play fucking football at a noon kick, and they can't move the ball. I would rather those kids get down there and run in the power I. They might move the ball.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day you happen to find yourself listening to your favorite podcast, The Bros and the Berg. My name is Robbie Bergstone. I'm doing the, for my wonderful co-host Ryan Doyle, as he is on the IR from doing the intro, so I'm taking over today. We're also joined by our executive producer and also co-host Connor Doyle, bringing you all of your favorite sports news, updates, and probably talking about things that aren't as important as sports. So,
what does that mean?
Back with you again.
Yo, good job, guy. Good job,
Did I nail that? I think I did.
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
That was locked in for sure.
Sorry for the additional hiatus. You guys, I'm sure, remember when we said that we were going to make sure that we did 2 weeks in a row. That did not happen. Are you surprised? That's our brand. That's our brand by now. We just need it's
we
every
are
other
built
week.
somewhat different.
Are we built different or just built incorrectly? It might be incorrectly, honestly.
Yes.
So whoever sees this in wherever you see this, wherever you get your podcast, whether it be Google Podcasts or YouTube, Spotify, and any of the above, make sure you wish our lovely co-host Ryan Doyle a happy late birthday. His birthday was a few days ago.
Big 25,
and at this rate, I'm not making it to 30. So
quarter life crisis inbound
and
right now
done.
for Ryan.
That's it.
When are you gonna buy Miata?
I don't tempt me with a good time. Do not tempt me.
So anyways, we're going to start talking about the world of sports today. Like we're going to try to change it up more. Like I said, we're trying to lead with other stuff other than just college football all the time. We're going to start with a sport that's in full swing postseason mode. How about the MLB and baseball? The last game of the wild cards is tonight between the Padres and the Mets. That went to a third game. Currently, the series as they stand in the AL, it is the Guardians and the Yankees in the divisional round. It is the Mariners and the Astros. Talk about a city without any success for 21 years. The Seattle Mariners finally getting a playoff.
Sweep the Astros.
If they beat the Astros, I would just be so happy.
I'll buy a jersey.
Yes, I think if they sweep the Astros, we all have to buy Mariners jerseys,
or at least a cap or something.
No. If they sweep them, we're buying jerseys. We can get them on DH game. It won't be too expensive, but
very funny. And then in the NL, it's TBD against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like I said, the Padres and Mets actually just started, so it's between the Padres and the Mets to play the Dodgers. And then on the other side, it's the Phillies and the Braves. Gentlemen, obviously you guys watch baseball a little more than myself. Do you have any insights for these playoffs?
I mean, I think you're going to see the teams that the first round buys advance. Maybe the Mets might be able to give the Dodgers a series. I don't think the Padres will. I think you're probably looking at Yankees, Stros, and Braves, Dodgers in the championship series, but. Mm-hmm. It's baseball.
Payroll versus payroll.
Yep, exactly.
Do we have any World Series content? Do we want to just predict right now who we think's going to be in the World Series?
So if y'all didn't know this, for next year they always do like a bracket challenge for the MLB too, which seems stupid because there's not as many games. But if you get them all right, you win like $100K. And so I did it, and I got all of them right. I guess I need the Mets to win tonight, but the Phillies screwed it up for me. So kind of sad about that. Right. I had the Mariners and the Guardians right, but.
Okay.
I hate the Phillies, like with a passion. Hate the Phillies.
Why?
And there's a little bit of a personal side to that that I won't get into. But man, I hate the Phillies, and I am so glad that the Braves are gonna get to send them home. So glad.
Sorry, yeah. For me, I'm gonna say the Dodgers, and I'm gonna say the Astros, the two best records in the league.
Yankees are going.
I think it's gonna be Astros Braves round 2.
ESPN just wants to continue to talk about Aaron Judge.
I was curious how you were going to phrase that, because there's a couple of different routes you could have gone that would have been very vulgar, but I thought you might go down that path.
I thought about it. I really thought about it. Then I remembered my mom echoing in my ear.
Yeah.
And you say the F word a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, my mom says the same thing. I think, Ryan, can we make it through the whole pod without cussing? You think we can do it this week?
I'm too tired for that. I'm gonna start talking about how I wish that Alabama would tarmac Bill O'Brien after our home game against A&M, and I'm gonna get
We'll get there.
pissed.
We'll get there. Ryan, do you have a World Series prediction at this point?
Dodgers, Yankees.
Payroll, LA.
Yeah, that's correct.
I love it. I know Giancarlo Stanton. He had a pretty bad injury. Is he back? I know he had an injury. Like I don't know if he's back or not.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. No idea.
What are y'all's opinions?
I didn't know
Go ahead,
the Yankees had anyone Aaron Judge on their team. I thought their entire team was just Aaron Judge.
What did y'all think of the split screening between the college football games?
Dude, you're gonna have to cut this, but literally ESPN is just got Aaron Judge's nuts
gargling
on their chin,
gargling his nuts for the entire last 3 weeks.
It's despicable behavior.
I can't cut that out. That's explaining what's happening.
Dude, it is. It's no one.
It's the best way to explain it.
I'm a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan. Imagine
that's
this,
a painful experience.
That was an awesome
that's
game.
A painful experience.
I'm busy watching my team just suck ass, wishing it was the '90s, and I'm watching Aaron Judge get walked for the third time that fucking game. Like I care, as I'm busy drowning my sorrows.
I also feel like the overlap between I feel like the overlap between like MLB fans and college football fans probably isn't overly large either.
It's just like sports fans. I mean, if he was going for like the Bonds record, I would be a little bit more understanding. But like, it wasn't. So
he does now own the fake AL record. That's apparently you get to have a record for only beating half of the teams in the league. But you know.
That was
we don't have Pete Rose.
Wild.
Pete Rose still isn't in the Hall of Fame. Until Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame, I will not tolerate the MLB in any of their records because they're all stupid.
Very valid. So there were our MLB insights. That was that. My only other MLB headline I have: Shohei Ohtani. This was I think 2 weeks ago. Has assigned to a 1-year, $30 million contract with the Angels. I don't know why he wants to stay with the Angels.
Are there like contract rules that the Angels got first dibs, because that's way under market value?
Well, I was gonna say too, if you're the Angels, why re-sign him to a long enough contract where you can deal him? You're not good enough to win. You could get a lot back for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
I just don't get why you don't structure it in a way that you can trade him, because no one's gonna take him on a 1 year.
I would guess that's like a team option.
Yeah,
is what I would guess, and I'm not well versed enough on like free agency rules and
the MLB is so weird too, because you have like arbitration and like all kinds of weird stuff going on. But if you're the Angels,
salary cap.
You have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, you're still not winning games. Clearly, you're not a good enough team right now. Like you need to actually like rebuild, and they're not doing it. I feel like they trade one of them next year. I feel like they might trade Trout. I don't know though.
I mean, Trout's in his 30s now.
I know, but someone will still take him.
Oh, I know.
He's still a solid bat in the middle of your lineup.
Yeah, but as you said, Robbie, the amount that you can give for Shohei is ridiculous. I feel like at this point, so I feel like.
But not if he's on a 1-year deal. Because you don't want to. I mean, you can still trade him as a 1-year rental, and you'll still get a good amount back, but not as much as you would if you'd locked him up and then traded him to a team that had him for the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I have on the MLB. We're going to move to everyone's favorite subject, and especially ours, college football. And I'm just going to hand it to you boys. Alabama A&M. What happened there? Let's hear about it. I want to hear.
Our backup quarterback is like Jalen Hurts light for his freshman year. He can't read. He's a great athlete.
He can't read.
Bill O'Brien has not adjusted the scheme in the playbook for a guy with a totally different skill set from Bryce.
And his throwing mechanics just look bad. Like, it's just the way he throws the ball.
Bicep the size of my forehead.
He is massive.
He is a big dude.
That dude is
like, holy fuck.
But yeah, I mean, Brian's right. He just didn't adjust the offensive play calling at all. And like first half, they were scoring some. Like all of A&M's points for the most part came off of turnovers. We had 3 fumbles, 2 by Milroe, 1 by Jace McClellan, and then interception as well. 4 turnover goals. We were lucky to win that game. Very, very lucky to win that game. I think if A&M hadn't had as many injuries as they had, they might have beaten us.
How many I forgot. How many turnovers did A&M have? It's like losing so we lost the turnover battle. I don't know about how bad, but like you don't often walk away losing the turnover battle by probably double and having your backup quarterback in and still be able to win a game.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Jimbo and the play calling on the final drive.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Yeah. The final drive was okay, but I don't know what they were thinking on that last play call. It's such a low percentage throw, and like you don't have that dominant receiver to throw that ball to. I just don't know what.
Even if he completed it, I don't know if he's in.
Well, the receiver ran a terrible route too. That's the thing. He did not go deep enough into the end zone.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys had 4 turnovers. They only had 1. They threw 1 interception.
Yeah.
That's kind of nuts, actually. And you guys still managed to pull it out. That's pretty crazy.
Knoxville next week is going to be spooky. That is going to be a really scary game.
Dude, that's
Bryce has to be back, or we're going to get.
Oh yeah, we're not winning if Bryce doesn't play, which I think he will.
He's been day to day, so I'm assuming.
If Bryce doesn't play, we're done.
I hope so.
There's no chance.
Speaking of Tennessee had a very, very good win over LSU of 40-13, kind of in dominant fashion at LSU. Tennessee looks good. Tennessee looks really scarily good.
Tennessee is good. Unfortunately,
I think they beat either us or Georgia. I think they catch one of us.
There's high praise right there.
I think they're good enough to win one of those games. I was talking to one of my friends about this earlier. So let's imagine a scenario here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that Tennessee beats Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
They beat Georgia, and then they play Alabama in SEC, and they play Alabama in the SEC championship, and Alabama beats them. So you have 3 one-loss SEC teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do? Like, obviously, Alabama gets in because they won the SEC championship, and then you have to put in Tennessee, right? Because they beat Georgia head-to-head.
Well,
if there was, I mean, because there still could be an undefeated TCU, Oklahoma State, USC, UCLA who would get in, obviously. But I don't think that's not going to happen.
Teams are undefeated at this point in time, but yeah, we're going to roll with it.
For the sake of conversation, I don't think any of those teams will be undefeated by the end of the year. But what just happened, Ryan?
Strip sack by Micah Parsons. I physically love him.
Micah is so good. He's so good. It's ridiculous. But anyways, back to like I said, Tennessee, and then unfortunately, the Jayhawks' undefeated season has come to an end at the hands of the TCU Horned Frogs. Granted, though, Kansas didn't move at all in the AP poll, which I was kind of surprised. But like you say, good, but also their starting quarterback is injured.
Yeah,
but their backup looked good. He played well against TCU.
He was pretty decent.
Did you see he was at number 25, throwing some respect?
James Madison.
Nice.
James Madison got it at 25.
The dude.
And the Illini are ranked for the first time in, I think, Connor's lifetime.
Who?
The Illinois Fighting Illini.
Oh, Illinois. Sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's probably true.
That's how you know shit is absolutely wild. You have Kansas, K-State, James Madison.
The Big
TCU
Ten West.
Top 15. The Big Ten West is fucking
shit
awful.
show. It is
terrible. Nebraska can still easily win the Big Ten West.
Oh god, the Rutgers game was it got good by the end, but like the first 3 quarters were like, what is happening? It was like, this is so bad.
The teams that have lost to Nebraska are now that beat Nebraska are now 1-11 since playing Nebraska.
But so before they ended up beating Rutgers, they flashed us out on the screen. Nebraska had lost their last 10 one-possession games.
Yeah, that's correct.
The Scott Frost effect.
The Scott
Frost effect.
That's what they get for being so good in the 90s.
Someone told me he was visiting with Arizona State, and he was like the favorite right now, for like the new coaching position at Arizona State.
I mean, they just hired Herm Edwards after being out of coaching for how long? Like, I don't think Arizona State really cares, to be honest with you.
I cannot believe the Cowboys just went into SoFi and beat the Rams.
Cooper Rush is him.
Shout out Cooper Rush. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Continuing on the SEC track, Mississippi State hammered Arkansas. Georgia hammered.
Arkansas doesn't know which way is up.
I thought Arkansas looked okay before A&M.
Yeah, I mean, they're not a bad team.
I was kind of surprised.
And their defense is so bad. Their passing defense is so bad. Yeah. Bryce played for like a quarter, had like over 200 yards throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Like, but also, I want to shout out my Gamecocks for beating up on Ryan's Wildcats this week. Went into
Kentucky's now in free fall. They're looking towards basketball season.
Yeah. 100%. Shout out to South Carolina. Ole Miss. Vanderbilt put up 28. I'll give him that. Ole Miss. They
were down most of the first half.
Yeah.
Ole Miss was like Vandy was in the game, and then they Vandied it.
Yep, exactly.
They Vandied it.
Notre Dame with an upset on BYU at Notre Dame. What do we think about that?
Notre Dame is such a weird team this year.
Yeah.
It's like, BYU's not obviously like college football playoff caliber, but
Still good.
they're still good.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame has looked like embarrassingly bad in some of their losses.
Yeah. In a crapshoot in the Big 12, Kansas State and Iowa State with a barn burner of 10-9.
Barn burner.
Of 10-9 in Ames. What? That was weird. That game was weird. I don't
Classic
know.
Only to be outdone by the Iowa, also I think having like the exact
Iowa
same score.
Is so bad. Iowa is like atrocious.
The state of Iowa is allergic to offensive football. They're just allergic to it.
I believe Iowa every Saturday puts those poor kids in the children's hospital, and those kids have to watch Iowa play fucking football at a noon kick, and they can't move the ball. I would rather those kids get down there and run in the power I. They might move the ball.
Those kids, it's gonna be an uplifting thing. They get to see their favorite team play some football, and then they have to watch that Iowa team play football.
Brian, that might have been the funniest thing I've ever heard you say on the podcast.
It's true. They all do the wave, and the kids
Yeah,
are like, what are you waving
it's a great
to?
moment.
What are we waving about?
Why are we waving at these bums down the field? I want to wave at them.
It's just sad.
Something we haven't mentioned on this podcast before that I think is a great thing to mention, considering we talk about the state of Iowa and football. In case you don't know, Iowa and Iowa State, the name for their rivalry game is El Assico.
Yeah.
You're gonna live up
Like,
to
you
the
know,
name.
El Clasico, Real Madrid, and FC Barcelona. No. El Assico, because just abysmal football every time.
Those offenses are corn-fed and ready for that this year.
No, they already played.
They already played.
It was 10-9.
That's right.
Yeah, it was 10-9.
It was another shootout.
I couldn't imagine watching that game sober. You couldn't, baby.
And I've saved this to last because obviously I attend this school. Oklahoma State squeaks out a victory against Texas Tech in
All you gotta
tough
do is
to watch
win,
fashion. And I'll give all the props in the world to Texas Tech. I thought Texas Tech was a decent team from the time they beat Texas in overtime.
Yeah,
Texas Tech.
They're gonna be a tough out all year. I think they're gonna be a tough team to beat all year. They're gonna be tough.
Their corners are locked down. Like Tech's corners are really good, and that surprised me. And that running back was running. Granted, our defense is nowhere near what it was last year, but his running back was running all over us. Yeah, I mean we pulled it.
To be an Oklahoma State fan, you get to watch your in-state rival get absolutely
let's talk about that.
Embarrassed, physically embarrassed.
49, a shutout win, 49-0, and I am terrified of playing Quinn during homecoming. I mean, I was already scared, but now it's even worse because he's proved he's completely fine. Jeez, that's gonna be terrible.
But don't forget that Kansas still owns Texas.
Yeah, is Texas 100%. Back, or can we say that until
OU just sucks?
Rolls in?
OU is bad. They're a bad. And Dylan Gabriel is out too, which doesn't help anything. But
I could imagine a Venables-led team like getting 50 hung on them.
Yeah. They're going to be rebuilding. I mean, they're going to be bad probably this year, get a little better next year. I think when Venables kind of turns the program around, they'll be back to old Oklahoma, but it's going to be a little bit. They just lost so much.
I agree.
The Big 12 is literally like, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, obviously, they 2 back-to-back games coming up that are huge. I mean, we got TCU this next weekend at TCU. TCU is actually the favorite. I actually think we're going to come into that, and I think we're going to play better than we did against Tech. I think we're going to be more prepared. I think Tech caught us off guard a little bit. I have next to no confidence about Texas, if I'm being completely honest. This Oklahoma State team just...
Is that in Stillwater?
Yeah, it's homecoming.
It's homecoming.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, this team does not feel like an undefeated Oklahoma State team.
TCU's favored by 3.5.
No, I know.
That feels about right.
I mean, it's in Amon Carter, so...
Yeah, I would call it a toss-up at a neutral site, so you get 3 points for home field advantage. That feels about right.
I mean, this
team...
OU
is favored by 6.5 against Kansas. Is that disrespectful?
Where's it at, Norman?
Ranked Jayhawks rolling into Norman.
They lost their starting quarterback, so I can understand it to some degree. But yeah, Oklahoma State. I'm excited to see what they do, but I'm nervous. So we don't have the defense. We don't have the NFL caliber defense that we had last year with Rodriguez and some of those guys. But it's gonna be tough.
Syracuse is ranked.
Yeah, Syracuse is ranked.
When did that happen?
So let's go through that right now. I'm gonna go through the AP poll top 25. I'm just gonna read down the list just quickly, and then if you guys have anything you want to stop me on and talk about it, we can do that.
I'm glad we're at 3, but yeah, continue.
We got Georgia at 1. We got Ohio State at 2. We got Bama at 3. We got Clemson at 4. Michigan at 5. Tennessee at 6. USC at 7. Oklahoma State at 8. Ole Miss at 9. Penn State at 10. UCLA at 11. Oregon at 12. TCU at 13. Wake Forest at 14. North Carolina State at 15. Mississippi State at 16. Going up 7 spots. Kansas, that's the biggest jump I think in the list. Kansas State is 17. Syracuse at 18. Kansas stays where they are, a little surprisingly after the loss at 19. Yeah. Get Utah out of the top 25. I'm so tired of Utah being in the top 25.
They're not a good team.
Overrated team in college football. I don't understand.
I'm curious to see how USC does in Salt Lake next week. That'll be a big game.
Yeah.
Utah has a chance to shut people up.
Yep.
So yeah, we got Utah at 20. We got Cincinnati at 21. Still hanging around that bottom area of the top 25. We got Kentucky at 22. Texas also tied at 22, and then Illinois 24, and then James Madison at 25.
Just on the outside looking in, Coastal Carolina is knocking on the door, trying to get ranked.
Yep.
So, I also put Ohio State at 1 over Georgia. I know they haven't really played anyone, but I think they look better than Alabama and Georgia.
They still got to play Penn State and Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they beat up on Wisconsin and Michigan State the last 2 weeks, but neither of those teams are great this year.
They're both floundering.
Yeah. But they're the only team that's been dominant so far through all of their games. I mean, I guess they had a little bit of a tight one with Notre Dame week 1, but since then they've been the team.
Week 1 games are always so I never bet on week 1 games.
No. Well, and Notre Dame, I mean, they started off slow, but they turned around and beat BYU this weekend. So they're picking it up a little bit at the right time.
So yeah, knocking on the door of the top 25 currently. North Carolina has the most votes, along with Baylor and Coastal Carolina as well. And those are the top 3 that are right outside.
It doesn't seem like a group of 5 team is going to make it into New Year's 6 this year, unless Cincinnati continues to run the table. But I kind of don't think they will.
I don't think so either.
I mean,
they only have 1 loss.
Can James Madison go undefeated and make it New Year's 6? That'd be pretty cool.
It's true.
I'd love to see that.
You have to get to 16. Is that what you have to get to in the college football playoff rankings?
Not sure.
Something like that.
And they're always harsher on those teams.
Yeah, so. That's why James Madison hasn't played anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to propose the pick'em games on the podcast right here. The 5 games.
I think we should do them live, right now.
You want to do them live right now?
Let's do them live. I think we need to start doing it next week. Then we can do the picks and talk about them rather than just posting them.
Okay. So we're just gonna do this one. I see the first one up. Oklahoma State TCU. I feel like that's feel like we need to pick that one. So Robbie, what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna go with the Pokes. I think they had a tough week last week, but like we talked about, Tech is a tough out. They already beat Baylor. I think TCU is gonna be riding high off of going to Lawrence and getting the win. I think Oklahoma State catches them.
Right.
Give me OSU in the points.
Very nice. I'm also. Go ahead.
They're not favored, so they could lose if you just take the points.
No.
Okay. Anyways,
I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State as well. I don't know if I'm ever gonna pick against my school this year.
Unabashed homers.
I'm gonna go with.
I picked against them 1 week and they proved me wrong.
They proved you wrong.
I'm on the bandwagon.
I think Robbie is very correct. I think Texas Tech was probably one of the, like I said, I think they caught us off guard. They punched us in the mouth early, and I think we'll be more prepared for TCU. We have the number 5 and number 10 mashup of Penn State at Michigan. What do you think, Robbie?
If this game was at Penn State, I'd take the Nittany Lions. I don't think Michigan's that good. I really don't think Michigan's that good.
A lot of people really don't think Michigan's good at all.
But I think at home in the big house, I think I take Michigan in that one. And in a tight one, I think Penn State can give them a good game.
Ryan, what are you thinking?
I am currently thinking. That's what I'm doing.
Are you? I don't see a whole lot turning.
There's not a lot going. I'll make my pick. I believe Penn State upsets Michigan at home. As Robbie said, I don't think Michigan's a very good team. I think Penn State is. I think they came into the season a little overlooked, which is very contrary to normal Penn State. Typically, I feel like they're way overhyped and overranked. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this season they came in kind of under the radar, and I think they're a good team. I think they get it done at Michigan.
I think it's a bad game.
You
I
so?
think it's just not going to be a really good game.
I don't,
you look
I
at their most recent 5. Michigan gave up 14 points to Iowa, which in itself is disgusting. And Penn State beat Northwestern 17-7. That's just not great. The Big Ten is not, besides Ohio State, is not fun to watch right now.
I think we're looking at a classic Big Ten, 17-14.
No, it could be really bad.
I think we're looking at a classic
17-14. Penn State covers, but Michigan gets the dub.
I agree.
Right.
The line is 7 with an over/under of 51, and I'm hammering the under.
Hammering the under, yeah. Give me a Penn State cover for sure. Yeah. 7. I think it'll be a 3-point game.
That's correct. You heard it here first.
The next one we have Alabama at Knoxville. Alabama versus Tennessee.
Does Bryce Young play?
Yeah.
That's my only question. If Bryce Young plays, Alabama wins. The line is currently 7.5. Favored for the Tide. I haven't seen a single-digit line for an Alabama game since the college football playoff, I guess.
Give me the Tide and the points. Give me the Tide and the points. I think we come out early. I think we hit them in the mouth, and if we go up early on Tennessee, game's over. They're going to be so hyped up. They're going to be so hyped up. If we come out and strike first, get it going, I think it gets. Oh, it's not out of hand. It'll be a tight game, but I think that'll be enough to get us the win.
I'm also going to go with Alabama. I think that y'all have so much talent that Tennessee, like you said, I think you might hit him in the mouth early. If Bryce comes back, they might not have as good of a game plan for him being out for a couple of weeks. So I will see in there.
You game plan for Bryce Young because you don't have to game plan for Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, you just have to game plan against the run. Bryce, you have to worry about everything.
You stack the box against Milroe, pretty much.
We're going to go with... Bama. Yeah. We're going to go with USC and Utah.
I think going back on what Connor said, Utah, every chance they've had to play a good team this year have fallen over. They didn't beat Florida in the Swamp. They didn't beat UCLA this past week. I think USC does it. I think USC and UCLA have a very good chance of rolling into their second to last game, both 10-0. I just don't. I think UCLA might still have Oregon, which might be tough. But I think there's a pretty good chance. I think if USC gets through this, they'll be 10-0. I don't know if they're in the Rose or the Coliseum, but
which is something to be said with that even more because obviously USC and UCLA announcing earlier that they're going to the Big Ten, so it's like that raises even more concerns with how good they've been this year for the Pac-12 in general.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think in this USC versus Utah game?
Since I picked USC earlier in the year, we got to continue that. We got to go with USC.
I'm also going to take USC and Caleb Williams against Utah. We're going to do 2 more just because they're 2 more ranked matchups. NC State versus Syracuse.
It's going to be an interesting one. I think NC State gets that one, but Syracuse will be playing with a little bit of fire after finally getting ranked for the first time in God knows when.
Yeah.
Syracuse is favored. It's at home, and the over-under is 44.
That feels low.
It feels very low.
Give me the Cuse. Give me the Cuse in an upset. NC State didn't play great against Clemson. They were in the game, but it definitely didn't feel like they were very sharp.
Yeah.
Give me the Cuse at home.
I'm gonna go with Robbie here. I'm gonna get the Cuse at home, like Ryan said. Have a little bit of fight after being ranked. I feel like they're gonna show why they deserve to be ranked, why do they deserve to be in that top 25. The last one for the weekend, we're gonna go with Mississippi State versus Kentucky. Mississippi State is currently favored by 6.5. It's at Kentucky.
Kentucky's in a free fall right now.
Kentucky Stoops will pull them up. They'll rein it back in. They're too talented to lose 3 straight.
I think so.
And Mississippi State they're fine. They're not
quarterback's
great.
Pretty good. Will Rogers?
They're fine.
He's pretty good.
I got the Bulldogs. I think they go, and I think the strength of their defense is their run defense. Well, guess what? Mississippi State doesn't run the ball because it's Mike Leach. So
the Pirate.
Yep.
Ooh, this one actually might be the hardest one to pick. I'm gonna go with Mississippi State. I think that I think Kentucky's gonna lose 3 straight. I think they're in that free fall. I think they aren't gonna get that confidence back. I think Mississippi State's gonna capitalize on it. I think Mississippi State's gonna win that one. So obviously we just picked 6 games right there. I'll put 5 in the graphic. I'll probably take it. I don't know which one I'll take out, but I'll decide which one.
Also, Georgia plays Vandy this week, only favored by 38.5. Give me those points. I need that.
Vandy cover.
Vandy cover.
Good teams win, great teams cover.
That's correct. And Vandy against the spread is phenomenal.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we can move on from college football. I think we've talked enough about it. So we're going to go on to the NFL, currently playing some of the games that are happening. Ryan, you mentioned obviously the Cowboys defeating the Rams at home. The Cowboys are now 4-1, if I'm not mistaken, as are the Giants.
Correct. They are definitely 4-1.
Well, what are your thoughts on Cooper Rush this season? He is currently 5-0 as a Cowboys starter. He's the only Cowboys quarterback who started his career at 4-0, and now he's 5-0. What do you think of this man?
You know, he has played well within himself. I'm giving a ton of props here to our offensive coordinator. I think he has really game planned appropriately for Rush's strengths, and being surrounded by talented offensive players. I think Zeke and Pollard have also really taken up the load, and having two different backs that are both starter quality in the NFL when you're playing with a backup quarterback is a huge blessing, and they've been taking a lot of load off of him.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this earlier, but do you keep letting Dak heal until Cooper Rush loses?
Yes.
So he's healthy, right? He could have, if Rush had been playing like shit and the Cowboys hadn't won a game since Dak was out, they would have played him this week. Yeah. I was talking to my other Cowboys friend earlier. It's just like, do you let him play until they lose, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, Dak is your starter going forward. He's a more talented athlete, quarterback, whatever. But sometimes shit just works, and teams get in a rhythm and a groove. And the fact that we just went in and beat the Rams, even though the Rams are kind of floundering right now, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have the Eagles next week. I mean, that's a huge divisional
game, yeah.
4-1 game. I don't know. I don't know. That it's going to be a really tough culture decision on that because the guys are believing in him right now too.
Yeah. Well, I said to somebody, I think it might have been Dad or something, but I thought that the biggest difference in Cooper Rush and why I would keep letting him play. Obviously, Dak is more talented. Dak is more dynamic. I think Cooper Rush is a better game manager than Dak has ever been. But the thing is, that's all he needs to be. That's the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Mac Jones approach, right? Bill Belichick always preached, get the ball to your playmakers, let them do the work. You don't have to do anything fancy. I mean, Tom Brady's the GOAT, not because he's the most talented quarterback of all time, or not because he was such a good game manager, and because he put the ball in the spots that the receivers needed to get the ball. That's all it was, and I think that's exactly what Cooper Rush is doing, and I think, like you said, props to the offensive coordinator for using his strengths. I mean, like I said, Cooper Rush is just getting the ball to his playmakers. His playmakers make him move. And you said it earlier too, Ryan. I mean, the Cowboys front seven is playing at an elite level. Michael Parsons is playing out of his mind right now. And so
also the Eagles are undefeated. I thought they had lost the game. So.
No, they won, and they just pulled out a win off a doink just a little bit ago.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys are right. The Cowboys are talented enough on both sides of the ball that you don't need your quarterback to do a whole lot. You just need him to not make mistakes, which is what Cooper Rush has been doing.
What he's been doing. That's all he needs to. So far we have the Cowboys pick up the W. The Giants beat the Packers. The Packers are in shambles right now.
Daniel Jones, put some respect on his name.
I heard Daniel Jones played really well today.
I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast. The Giants have the sorriest group of receivers in the league. Their offensive line is a literal turnstile. They don't exist.
Yeah. They have two rookies starting at tackle. Both their tackles are rookies.
Yikes.
And Daniel Jones is willing that team to 4-1 along with Saquon Barkley.
So I was about to say,
I've somehow caught a lot of Giants games this year. I don't really know how, but I've watched a lot of the Giants so far this year. And every time I'm just impressed by Daniel Jones. He makes something out of nothing. His stats haven't looked great. I think you look at him is he really playing that well? But he makes so many plays throughout the game that could have been so negative, turned into either a just neutral play or a positive play. He's been playing really, really good football. And Saquon's back. If they could just get a little bit healthier receiver, they would be. I think the NFC East is going to be a dogfight this year.
No, they're not going to get better at receiver. That's
they're not. Yeah,
they're not. So it's going to be Saquon, and if Saquon gets hurt, the wheels fall off this quickly.
OBJ back to the Giants.
Shit, I mean, might as well.
News visiting
at this point.
So yeah, we have that. The Bills with a dominant win over the Steelers, and I believe Kenny Pickett's first career start.
That was an ass.
Not a good game.
I mean,
The thing was though, it like wasn't really on Kenny Pickett.
Damn, he threw
he
threw 327 yards. I didn't.
Well, the thing was, so, like the first drive, right?
They go 300 yards in the first half.
Yeah, he was. It
was gross.
But so the first drive, Pickett went right down the field and they got a field goal. Then the next 3 drives, they went 3 and out. They had the same play calls on all 3 of those drives. They had 2 runs, and then they got in 3rd and long because Najee is incredibly inefficient right now. And so they threw the ball in 3rd and long and didn't get it. It was just awful play calling, and that's what they got so far behind. And then at that point, you're just slinging it to try to get back in the game. But like Pickett, I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, you have to be so happy that Pickett is out there because he looks so much better than Trubisky did. And it's
100%.
Yeah.
What is up? Do y'all see something? Is it the Steelers offensive line? What's up with Najee Harris right now? Is he just struggling to get off the block?
He just, I don't know if it's his foot. He does not look as explosive as he has. No. I mean, I know he's dealing with the foot injury, he has the Lis Frank injury. He just doesn't look right.
Interesting. We had the Chargers, from what I hear, was an ugly 30-point win against the Browns, 30-28. Apparently the defense stepped up a little bit, but Justin Herbert only threw for 1 touchdown in a 30-point win, which is uncharacteristic for the Chargers.
Eckler was running wild though.
Yeah.
Eckler ran over multiple grown men. I saw highlights.
The Vikings with a 29-22 W over the Bears. The
Bears are terrible. Bears might be the worst team in football.
Really bad.
I did hear I was
absolutely mild against the Bears, and I know we're talking about all the Sunday games. We have to get in to the Colts Broncos game. Thursday night.
We'll get there.
Well, can I mention one thing about Justin Fields real quick?
Please.
One of the I was watching Red Zone, so he flipped to that game a little bit, and the announcer was talking about Justin Fields. And, obviously he's not played great this year, hasn't been throwing the ball really well. But he made a good point. He made a great throw. I think it was to Komet. Like a really good touch throw, like definitely not an easy throw. He's like, it's like a golf game, right? When you play golf, generally you're not playing really well, but you hit like 3 or 4 shots. You're like, that was sick. I feel like I'm a great golfer, and that's what brings you back for more. And that's where the Bears are at with Justin Fields. Like, you don't see the consistency week in and week out, throw in and throw out of like, he's a good quarterback, but he makes plays. You're like, this seems like this guy is good enough to be an NFL quarterback. But
he has the same amount of rushing attempts as he does completions, and he plays the quarterback position.
Ooh.
I think he finally passed Kupp to have more completions than Kupp had receptions. Because going into this week, Kupp had more receptions.
That's a stat. That's as a Bears fan, you're not thrilled with that.
No.
I also you just reminded me of a stat. I saw this on, I can't remember if it was on Bleacher Report or ESPN. Jalen Hurts has passed Cam Newton for basically the most amount of rushing touchdowns in the first 24 career starts or whatever. It's like they both had 19, but he's done it by the time like he's had 24 career starts, or Newton did it in 25 or something. So congrats to Jalen on his rushing touchdown prowess. The Patriots shut out the Lions in a 29-0 win. Boo, the Lions were looking decent.
Everything this week about how good the Lions offense was, and then Jared Goff did what he did all last year.
Also, Bill Belichick did Bill Belichick things.
He did.
He's still the best coach in the league, and he showed you that when he takes the highest scoring offense for the first 4 weeks and shuts them out.
And Ryan, I'm sure your friends got to be happy. The Saints with 39-32 W over the Seattle Seahawks.
That was a wild game. Taysom Hill just went nuts.
Taysom Hill, bro.
I win this jersey. Sorry, excuse me.
Did you win a jersey? Whose is it?
Yeah, I won the Cam Newton stitched white Patriots jersey because I thought it looked fucking sick inside.
How'd you do that? How'd you do that?
Shopgoodwill.com.
Oh, yeah, but
Ryan, we can both wear Cam Newton jerseys now. I have a Panthers one.
I'm sharing my screen for the pod. Here we go. Ain't that sick? You know,
that is pretty sick, Ryan. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm very happy for you.
This one. I forgot to pay the last one that I won.
So as Robbie said, Taysom Hill really living up to his Swiss Army knife nickname in the 39-32 win over Seattle. The Jets granted, probably not super surprising given that both quarterbacks tried. The Jets with a 40-17 win over the Miami Dolphins, who have been on a roll of late, but as I said before, they've their starter and their backup quarterback out, so things are a little rough at the moment in Miami. The Buccaneers with a little bit of a struggle win over the Atlanta Falcons, only a 21-15 victory. Did
you guys see that roughing the passer call?
I did not.
Yes.
I did. No, maybe.
It was another one of those plays where it's like, yeah, you just can't tackle Tom Brady. Like Grady Jarrett made a great play, like just a very normal sack, and they threw roughing the passer on him because he threw Tom Brady over. It's like he was just tackling him. He was literally just tackling him for a sack.
You see what Brady said after the game? He said, "I don't.
I don't call the penalties."
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
he's right. I mean, he's right, but it was just a gross call by that crew. I don't know what they were thinking.
The Titans sneak out a win against the Commanders, 21-17. The Texans.
They're bad.
Yeah.
It is Derrick Henry on that team, and that's about it.
Yeah.
The Tannehill looks rough. I don't know where the Titans receivers are. The Commanders are the Commanders. Commanders are really bad. Holy fuck.
B-Rob season. Let's go. Antonio Gibson only had 3 carries because he's a bum. B-Rob time. Let's get it.
He's a bum.
He is. Dude, he had one play where he was wide open underneath, and Wentz, like, it wasn't the best pass, but he definitely should have caught it, hit right off his hands.
Nice.
Like, this man literally has, like, jello on his hands. Like, I don't know what he's doing. He's fumbling the ball. He can't catch it. Just tough to watch.
The Texans in a barn burner in the game of the year against the Jaguars in a 13-6 W, the first win of the season for the Houston Texans. And then, of course, the 37-15 win, the 49ers over the Panthers. Robbie, how do you feel about that?
Pain and suffering.
Baker, I think the Baker experiment is over. I mean, it's not over, but I think you've seen enough that he.
I thought he would be okay. I didn't think he'd be this
so
bad,
positive.
Bro.
I didn't either, man. I really.
OBJ is like, you see. This is what I said.
In Baker's defense, our offensive play calling does him absolutely no favors. Like, it is really
get
bad.
Baker and Matt Rule out of there.
Yeah. Tank for Bryce at this point, man. Like, honestly.
And as Robbie said, the Eagles with a slight victory over the Cardinals 2017. But let's converse about what Ryan mentioned earlier. The Thursday night game, the Colts versus the Broncos, the 12-9 matchup that ended in overtime without a touchdown scored the entire game. Fans were leaving the stadium before overtime happened because they were so tired of watching this game.
Yeah.
Why did I stay up watching that game?
That's all I could do. That's
all I could think about.
I watched the whole thing. I was like, oh my.
I saw a great meme I have to send you guys.
And Russell Wilson, maybe 5 years ago, that's a marquee quarterback matchup you're going to watch. They combined for 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Did you see Richard Sherman have PTSD because the Broncos didn't run the ball in overtime?
Mm-hmm.
They threw it.
Oh my God. Ambler almost shit himself. He could not believe Russ didn't throw the ball.
He was so open because Russ was just looking at Sutton the entire time. The KJ was so open.
To be fair, Russ threw a dot, but what's his name? Stefan Gilmore is still a beast. I don't know why people wrote him off. That made no sense. He's so good.
Because he was hurt and the prognosis wasn't good and like all that.
And he played for the Panthers.
He's older, but who cares? But Stefan Gilmore was a beast in this game. He made an incredible. And I'll give the credit to Russell Wilson. I thought he threw a dot. Gilmore just got his hand in there, really honestly. But yeah, he probably should have looked at Hamler.
What I didn't get is the play was definitely drawn up for him to throw the ball to Hamler. So I don't know why he didn't even look that direction.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the meme I said?
That's a funny. I just saw that.
Yeah. Through 5 games, this is Russ's split. 59.4% completion percentage for 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks with an 82.8 quarterback rating. That's just not who the Broncos gave that much up for.
It's not.
Can we get the Geno Smith stats too?
Yes. I thought you wouldn't ask.
If the Seahawks had any defense, the Seahawks would be like 4-1.
I think he's playing better than. I think they posted something where he's playing better than Russ. Oh, I have him right here.
Oh, by a lot, yeah.
268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He didn't He didn't turn the ball over.
He didn't write back. He said it week 1, and we thought it was funny, but
he didn't write back.
My man Geno threw 16 throws and had 3 tutties.
He had 140. He had 140 passer rating. 140. That's high.
That's correct.
That's really
good. Did you see this?
His career quarterback rating is sub 80, but this season he's at 108.
So did you guys see the press conference he had this week? Well, some reporter asked him like, nobody like saw you like having this career resurgence. Like, what do you think about like the way you're playing this year? He's like, well, clearly y'all didn't watch me throw. It's like, no, we did. We saw what you did at the Jets. Like we all saw it. You just like have turned it around and good for him. But I just thought it was funny. He's like, y'all clearly didn't see me playing the passes. Like we did. We're backup quarterback for 6 years, but like, yeah.
So yeah, those are the results for the week, and then the last game this evening is going to be
BetMGM. That's hysterical.
The last game this evening is going to be the Bengals and the Ravens, and the Monday night game is an interesting matchup, a divisional matchup between the Raiders and the Chiefs. The Raiders need a win. The Raiders, if they go 1-4, oof, that's
not good,
not looking good. So yeah, that's what I have for
and
that.
Don't you worry. You thought that Thursday night game was bad. Make sure you tune in. Amazon has cooked up an absolute special for you. It'll be the Washington Commanders playing the Chicago fucking Bears on Thursday night football.
Soldier Field, a nice Thursday night fall night in Chicago. You can't ask for anything.
You cannot be drunk enough for this game.
No.
If you sit there and watch this a whole game sober, you need to call
off work Friday. Yeah, I would just preemptively take Friday off for your own mental health so you can drink during this game because you're gonna watch it.
Fields
you know that you're gonna watch it,
baby. Let's just get into it.
I love NFL football.
I can't wait.
I love NFL football.
To be like, how did I draw this?
Bezos just like, who picked this? Who did this?
Who designed this? It's like the contract or whatever. How much they pay? Where the math works out to Amazon paid like $80 million per Thursday night game.
Paying $1 billion a year.
It's like these are the last two games that have come on.
He's like, huh?
Does Goodell have beef with Bezos? Like, is Goodell like, fuck that guy? Yeah. I'm gonna give him all of the worst games.
Yeah. So some of the other NFL headlines I have. So currently this is in recent light of the Tua injury. I hope that he gets the best medical attention he can. I hope that he recovers well. The NFL and the NFL Players Association are in works currently to institute a rule that says when a player exhibits instability in any capacity, they should not be allowed to return to the game. Currently, the Players Association has accepted this rule change, and the NFL says it will be implemented, but has currently provided no timeline on when they think that will be. So yeah, obviously this comes off the back of the Tua injury, because there's just obviously the doctor who was treating Tua got fired. Some weird things happening in Miami right now.
The Olave injury was scary today too. I don't know if you guys saw
that man got knocked out.
Yeah,
100% was unconscious when his head hit the ground.
I didn't even see
that.
They
zoomed in on his face. Yeah, he held onto the ball long enough. Like it was when he went limp is when he dropped it. Like he got to the ground and went limp.
Not a touchdown. Reviewed it. Saw my unconscious man hold on long enough for a tutty.
Yeah. They zoomed in on his face after the play, and you could just tell like he was not right. Like it was another really bad one.
Yeah. So obviously this is a very good rule change. Obviously, if any player shows any inability to perform, like Tua had the kind of collapsed and got back up. If a player's doing that, take them out of the game. They do not need to be playing. I think that's common sense. But some teams get the winning in their head, and they're like, oh, we got to win. Could put this guy out there.
Yep.
So thankfully the NFL should be implementing that at a time soon, but like I said, there's no official timeline on that. And unfortunately for the Dolphins, their backup, Teddy Bridgewater, he got hurt. He's in protocol as well, and it's just Miami is struggling right now. Obviously, football is a dangerous sport. If you play football, please take care of yourself. It's hard.
Also coming to you week 10, it's going to be Falcons at Panthers for Thursday night football. So just another.
Panthers going to be rolling out the black helmets, though, for that game. We're going to be in all black. It's going to be electric.
Yeah, because y'all going to be about, 2-7 coming into that?
Think we're going to win another game before that? We don't have I know we do have the Falcons before that game. So, yeah, we might have another one. We're in SoFi next week. That's an L.
I'm looking at the rankings for the Panthers, and offense, you're 32nd. Reminder for our listeners, there's 32 teams in the NFL. So you're behind the Bears, Commanders, all that above. 29th in defense, 31st in passing. I don't know who Baker beat out, but it's some absolute trash can.
Justin Fields,
and
definitely.
It's Justin Fields. And they're 29th in rushing, and you have CMC on your team. So not great. Definitely not great. But
Thank God I'm an Alabama fan. Thank God.
Yeah.
They've been testing me, though, this year.
Yeah, they have.
So now we're going to move into the NBA headlines. The first one that I have, Blake Griffin has signed with the Boston Celtics. What do we think of this acquiring?
I'm assuming?
I'm assuming as well, yes.
More depth for the Celtics. I mean, I feel like they needed some big depth. I think after Robert Williams went down last year, you kind of saw they didn't have a ton of big depth. So I feel like he's going to be coming off the bench for him, obviously.
It was wild watching him play. You could tell he was hurt.
Yeah.
in like some of those playoff series. Like that man was on legitimately one leg.
But Blake is good. Like I did the playoff series. It feels like every time the Nets had a playoff series, he had one game where he was just like that like energy guy, and he really like gave them what. I mean, obviously they got swept last year. Like there's one game that he's good for to really like get everyone moving because he's the one out there hustling still, and like he's not the player he once was, but he's still going to give you solid minutes and solid.
Yeah, those knees have in fact seen better days.
Yeah.
2 contract extensions. Larry Nance Jr. and the Pelicans have agreed to a 2-year, $21.6 million contract extension. And Steven Adams and the Grizzlies have agreed to a 2-year and $25.2 million contract extension. Of those two, I think the latter is more important. Steven Adams, obviously that vet guy for the Grizzlies and just a big physical guy, that great defender, great rebounder. It's what they need on the Grizzlies. I think that is a really, really good extension.
You just named the 2 teams that are going to be in the Western Conference Finals this year.
Yep.
Huh? Dude, the Pelicans are scary.
You heard it here.
Scary.
The Suns just lost to a team from
not your Mavs,
Australia.
boy. Not your Mavs.
No, they're gonna lose to the Grizzlies.
Dang.
In 7.
We're a Grizzlies pod. Honestly, we're definitely a Grizzlies pod. We love the Grizzlies.
Yeah, fair. This is kind of it. So obviously, I don't know how to say his last name. Victor W. He's I don't know how to say his last name.
Yeah.
Wemboy, something like that.
That.
Obviously, one of the people are saying the best prospect of all time, comparable to that of LeBron and Kareem, all that kind of stuff. My friends and I talking about the other day, what team do we think is going to, obviously the NBA is a lottery system as opposed to the NFL, as the NFL is just reverse standings. But if it was this is basically a way of saying, who do you think is going to be the worst team in the NBA this year to have a chance at getting Victor?
I mean, I think this is high enough stakes where you actively are tanking.
No, it's going to be gross. The player rest days are going to be gross this year.
It's going to be future bets and just find those 5 shitter teams and whatever the projected wins are is under. Just hammer the under.
To answer your question, Connor, I think it's going to be the San Antonio Spurs.
Dude,
think about how much they traded away this offseason.
I don't disagree. I think the Spurs are really good.
I can't name a guy on their team right now. I can't name a starter.
I don't think Popovich is. I don't think he's going to be.
Popovich doesn't embrace the tank culture. Is what you're saying?
I don't think so at all. I think Popovich is too good of a coach to not win a few games.
He literally said a press conference this week. He's like, "Yeah, we're not going to win a lot of games this year." Because
he knows the talent on his roster.
Yeah,
I think the Jazz are going to do some absolutely shameless things. I think they're definitely not above that shit.
Dude, what do you think? What do you think the Thunder are going to do? They should be better, but they lost.
Thunder
aren't.
They're not going to.
SGA is going to be resting a lot.
Yeah, SGA.
He's going to be resting a lot.
Just throw another one. I'm trying to think some of the other ones. The Pacers are pretty bad. Pacers could mess around. Let's see.
I could mess around.
I think the Hornets are not going to be very good this year.
You don't think so?
I don't have any tank though.
No, but I just don't have any faith in Steve Clifford, and you lost Miles Bridges, who was your second best player.
The Kings could.
They're hysterically bad.
Maybe De'Aaron will do. Oh wait, no. Yeah, he's still on the King. No, he's not.
Yeah, he's still.
No, he is.
He's still there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm tripping.
He's still there. They tried to trade him away.
Dame is still on the Blazers, so they won't be like.
Yeah, they won't be atrocious.
I mean,
they only had 20-something wins last year. That was oof. That was pretty bad. All right, this is kind of funny. So my roommates, Gabe and Braden, they're both from Houston. They are Houston Rockets fans. So the other day, Gabe he tapped me and he told me that, hey, the Rockets just made a trade, and I was like, oh, what did they just trade for? So I want you guys to listen to this trade. The Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder made a trade probably about a week ago. Here are the names that are involved in that trade. Are we ready for this? Here we go.
Yes.
So we have on Thursday night.
Wait, hold on. As you go through, can we try to name where those guys went to college?
What? Hell no.
So on Thursday night, the Oklahoma City Thunder traded Derek Favors.
Okay.
Kentucky.
Theo Maledon.
No idea.
Ty Jerome.
No idea.
Maurice Harkless.
Okay.
And
some household names.
And a 25 second round pick for David Nwaba, Sterling Brown, Trey Burke, and Marquise Chris.
Trey Burke went to Michigan.
So what does that change the landscape of the league? I feel like The NBA
So
is
for me, right, it was one team went into their back jeans pocket, found some lint, a paper clip, maybe 10 cents
yeah.
with Derek Favors. Shout out Favors. He
Second
was
round pick. There's a second round pick in there.
Yeah, sure. It's there.
It's like when you're like elementary school and you would like trade pencils with people to get like cooler pencils. Like I'll give you my Pokemon and football pencil if you give me your like I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh and golf pencil. Like, I don't know. Like that's pretty much what we did right there.
I just thought that was a funny trade that just happened,
and they really
nobody
wasted
knew.
like paper for drawing up contracts for that. That's wild.
Imagine someone at the league office had to like sit there and be like, "Yeah, this trade can go."
They negotiated that. The GM negotiated for those guys.
That guy's a player?
Oh, you want Trey Burke? Okay. Yeah, sure. You can
are you sure you want Trey Burke? Like, are you sure?
Can't talk you out of it?
That was a funny trade. So yeah, the next headline I saw this on Twitter the other day. The Denver Nuggets mascot Rocky is the highest paid mascot in the NBA with a $625,000 salary, and that is about 10 times the average of the normal NBA mascot. Why? Why does he make that much money?
He's got some like dirt on the on their owner being racist or something.
Dude, it's weird. $600,000.
Is the owner's son Rocky or something? Like, are we just missing some nepotism here? Like,
dude, I don't know. It's just like that's insane. It seems a little. That is
a little strange. Does he do like some kind of crazy act? That
I've heard that he's like probably the best. I've heard from people that he's like the best mascot in the NBA. He does like a few things, but it's like $625,000. It just seems like a lot. And probably the biggest news of this past week, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole had an altercation at a Warriors practice that recently surfaced on video. Apparently, TMZ paid the videographer of this video $2.6 million to release this footage, and currently there's an investigation undergoing, and Draymond Green has said himself that he's going to take some time away from the Warriors. But if you haven't seen it, basically they're exchanging some words. Draymond gets in Jordan Poole's face. Jordan Poole pushes him, and Draymond throws a knockout. That was one of the hardest punches I've ever. It was ridiculous.
He went straight for the head.
Jordan Poole just collapsed, and
such a bitch.
So yeah, what do we think, boys? What do we think of this altercation?
Draymond is a crybaby. That's all I have to say about it. He's just a giant crybaby.
You're telling why are people so surprised? These are professional athletes that have giant ass egos. This shit happens all the time. It's just that this one got leaked.
Yeah.
And you can see the Warriors aren't even necessarily apologizing or talking about the fight. No. They're like, yeah, we're gonna find out who fucking showed this video to TMZ.
It's also Draymond Green. That's the least surprising player to get in a fist fight of any player in the NBA. If I had to bet on someone,
is a very heavy ego player.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it in the.
He's coming off the best year of his career too. Yes. He's riding high, coming off the best season of his career.
And he said that Draymond was putting up triple singles, which is, again, hysterical and also very true.
Did you? So I just sent y'all a video. Brian, I'm trying to so look at those guys real quick because I know y'all know them. And the first few seconds, it's like Draymond. He's backing up. He's like, "I'm just like Mike, huh? I'm just like Mike." They're so funny. That video is so funny. They did that hours after the video. He's like, "I know you not talking Steph." It's so funny.
Yeah. I did think it was funny that no one was worried about the fight. I can't believe this got leaked. How could they leak this? It's the staffer that you're paying $70K a year is obviously going to take that payday and leak this video.
100%. Oh, the Warriors were trying to internally investigate. The guy would probably be like, "Oh, it's me. I'll leave." You got $2 million, $2.5 million.
Yeah, let me hold the severance.
Yeah, honestly. So yeah, I mean that's all I have from an NBA perspective. We can move on to the Premier League standings because I know Robbie desperately wants to hear about his Brentford Bees. So I'll update him on that. Arsenal still sits atop the league. Arsenal is having a phenomenal season with 8 wins.
They just took it back yesterday with a win. I think they beat Liverpool yesterday.
Nice. Arsenal,
could be wrong.
Let's see. Who did they beat? Yeah, you're correct. 3-2. They did beat Liverpool. Arsenal is at the top, Man City at number 2, Tottenham at 3, and Chelsea has made their way back up. Chelsea is currently sitting at 4. The 1, 2, and 3, I believe, are the same as normal, but Chelsea was, I think, at 6, around 6 before. Man United at 5, Newcastle at 6, 7, Brighton at 7, Bournemouth at 8, Fulham at 9, Liverpool at 10. Unfortunately, Robbie, your Brentford beats it right outside the top 10 at 11.
Not in relegation, though, so we're all right. Not getting relegated.
They have 2 wins, 4 draws, and 3 losses. Currently in relegation. West Ham, I remember last time we talked about West Ham is not in relegation anymore. They pulled it up a little bit. Wolves are currently sitting at 1, 3, and 5. Leicester City is currently sitting at 1, 1, and 7, and then Nottingham Forest are sitting at 1, 1, and 6. So those are the 3 teams in the relegation zone. I'm not sure how far in the season we are in terms of the Premier League. Robbie, do you have any idea? I couldn't tell you, to be completely honest. But
It's still pretty early. I'm pretty sure.
pretty early.
Like, they got a long way to go. Yeah.
Also, we are like less than a month and a half away from the World Cup kicking off.
Yeah.
Holiday time World Cup. That's kind of exciting.
Very
Yeah,
much
that's
so.
gonna be fun.
Very much so. And then I have one hockey headline. I saw this on ESPN.
Quick Premier League schedule thing.
Yeah.
So they play every team home and away. So they each have to play 19 games at home and away. So they still have away. So they play 38 games total.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, quick hockey one. Calgary Flames signed Weir to an 8-year, $50 million extension. I don't know who that is. I'll be completely honest. I just saw it on a headline, so I assumed that it was relatively important. So there's your hockey news for the week.
Let me throw that bitch in there.
And then in F1 news, actually kind of funny because I was watching with the roommates the other day, and we threw on F1, and I think this was the race that actually happened, but I wasn't even acknowledging it. But Max Verstappen has won his F1 title with 4 races to spare. So it's not even close.
That's crazy.
Max Verstappen is insane.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, congratulations to him once again. I can't say anyone's that and Hamilton are the 2 names I know from F1.
Yeah.
So yeah, congratulations to him. We're gonna move on real quick. Song of the week, Robbie. Give it to me. Give me one. Just off the dome. Come on. Give me one. Not Marvin's Room. Don't say Drake. Don't give me a Drake song.
I can't say Drake. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
We're gonna go with White Iverson by Post Malone.
Okay,
that's a banger.
I'm actually seeing Post Malone in concert next weekend.
Very
excited about that.
Love that.
Classic song, probably his first song that you ever heard. So you haven't checked it out. I haven't checked out Stoney as a whole in a while. Can't forget about it. I think it's still his best album. People will probably disagree with me on that.
I think it's very good.
Beer Bongs and Bentleys is also up there. I think
yeah.
his last 2 haven't been as good, but I still think
Agreed.
Stoney's the best. So
Ryan, song of the week? Anything you want?
Rattling Bong.
Ho, the Rattling Bog.
Heard that a lot.
Great drinking game song.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with "Wild Thoughts" by DJ Khaled, Rihanna, Bryson Tiller. That's gonna be my song of the week.
DJ
I will never have a song of the week by DJ Khaled.
That's valid, honestly. I'm gonna leave this one up to you, Ryan. We can either let them go or we can do the tier list. Do you want to skip the tier list this week so you can go to bed?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna skip
I am
the tier
actively
list.
falling asleep.
All right, Robbie. Let's do the outro. No, actually, sorry.
Supposed to be
It's just like movie franchises. It's
franchise?
stupid.
Nah. Don't disparage that. Come on.
It's a stupid idea
actually,
anyways.
I thought it would be
guys,
kinda
don't
fun,
worry
but-
about it.
But yeah, so we're gonna, because Ryan's got to go to bed for at least an hour. We're gonna close on the podcast this week. Unfortunately, we're not doing a tier list. But I'm getting back to the Instagram this week. I took a week off just because I was doing stuff last week, so I apologize for that. We're gonna get back in the Instagram grind this week. Obviously, we got an episode. I don't know what the podcast situation is gonna look like next week. I don't know what I don't know what we're gonna do there.
I should be back in time. I got to get back early because I go to Mexico the Monday after.
So yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll do something. I'm never against like doing 2 of us. I don't think that's a bad thing. If we want to do that at some point.
We just need you because Robbie and I are worthless.
No, I know. That's why I was like, if it's like you are worth it. No,
for Instagram too, I'll also post Ryan's jersey that we talked about on the pod, so you can see it. And I will also post the meme that I sent them in the middle of the pod that we all laughed at.
There's some phenomenal meme. Yeah, okay, just for anybody that looks at our Instagram, I'm the serious post. Robbie's all the jokes and the memes. And that's all.
And then I don't do anything.
Yeah. You have the Twitter, but I don't think you do anything with it.
I need to. It's just hard to get interaction on Twitter. I need to do better with it.
Is.
Yeah.
I need to start shit posting on like famous people.
Yeah. We're getting close to 250 on Instagram, aren't we, Connor?
We're probably at like 220 or something.
We're at 225.
I haven't even done it. That means that we just... Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we've been getting like solid follows.
That means we've been going like growing
on
our own accord. Because I didn't like this past week. I didn't do anything to it. So yeah.
But quick shout out, if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us at Bros in the Berg.
You should follow us on Instagram.
We'll Connor and I will work on more content. He'll get some series posts. I'll get some memes. We'll make it happen.
All right, so that sounds good.
I think we need to bring back the highlight videos from the pod too, so people can like see the pod and actually
I'll do that more. It's just more work.
If you want to,
go ahead.
Send me the video too. I can edit a video. I can cut it up and put it together. I can handle that.
So you're finally doing something.
Just, don't always be the first one to fall on that sword.
No, that's fine. So yeah, Robbie, you want to outro us?
Yeah, for myself and Ryan and Connor, the Doyle brothers, who are both terrible at fantasy football. Thank you for listening in this week, and we will catch you all hopefully next week.
You didn't say, yeah, there it is.
Oh, Ryan has to do my part because I did his part.